When the stock market crashes, crypto tanks, and the economy goes to guess what still pays you every single month? Real estate. Here's why the wealthiest people on earth never stop buying it, especially during a recession. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know all the numerous benefits of real estate in any market, but let's talk about specifically during a recession, because a lot of people, that's a buzzword right now. We've got these tariffs, we got people scared about recession, people are talking about what's happening with the economy. All these things are like, why should I invest in real estate if we're going through a troubled time when it comes to the economy? So I'm going to tell you all about why you should still invest in real estate regardless of what's going on, because real estate is a recession-proof model. Why do you say real estate is a recession-proof model, Chris? I say because you got to think of what essential things do we always need as humans. This is even if we have a nuclear war or if we're just living lavish, living our life. What are the things that we always need? We need food, water, and shelter. Can't help you out with food or water, but we can help you out with shelter in the form of real estate. And even if you yourself, you don't need shelter, other humans need it. So let's talk about the recessions, right? Let's talk about some crazy economic times that we had more so recent. So during COVID, 2020, it wasn't necessarily a recession, but that was a time in economics where a lot of things changed drastically. In 2020 or during that whole COVID area, real estate was huge. Real estate was doing great. If you were a home buyer, you were an investor, you were a seller, you were living great off real estate just because of the time. Now, let's talk about 2008 though, because 2008 is very interesting because that was a challenging economic time, but that's one of the only challenging economic times that have happened directly due to real estate. And we're not going to get into why that exactly happened, 2008 crash, but basically lenders were over leveraged and there weren't the proper laws put in place and there was predatory lending, all that negative stuff. But in that time, a lot of people did lose money in real estate, but that's because they purchased it wrong. They didn't do the right things. The people who purchased properties correctly and actually did their research, did their information correctly, they were living great in real estate. And specifically the landlords and the real estate investors who were purchasing properties to rent them out, they were living great regardless of what was going on. And even people who were purchasing foreclosures, you know, buying whole, waiting for appreciation, they were living great. The real estate investors in 2008 who had more so challenging times were people who were over leveraged, people who didn't have much equity, people who were looking to purchase other properties under unconventional means and things like that. So those are two of our more recent examples of economic downturns and how it affects when it comes to real estate. So let's talk about, all right, moving forward, if we do have a recession or any economic downturn moving forward, how purchasing real estate does benefit you. And I think one of the safest bets is to be a landlord, because as we talked about our essential needs, food, water, and shelter, humans are always going to need shelter. And in a time where people aren't really able to afford things, when there's high inflation, when we're going through recessions, people aren't necessarily purchasing properties as much, but they still need to live in properties, right? So with them needing to live in properties, they can't purchase it. What comes next? Rentals. They need to rent out properties. And if so many people are renting out properties, what happens then? The demand is so high and demand increases. And when demand increases, so do prices. Prices increase. So where your normal cash flow, maybe $500 a month, now you're getting $750 a month pretty much instantly, just because the demand is so high. And you'll see very affluent families, very affluent people who should be purchasing houses, just because of the economic instability, they're now renting houses. And the type of houses that they're renting for huge amounts per month, in which they should be paying a mortgage. But that's just what happens with the economy. So I think if you are an investor and your main strategy is buying whole rental properties, that is great for you in the times of an incoming recession. Now let's talk about the discounts that you can get also in a recession too, because a lot of people are just fire selling properties because they need capital, they need things to do, like they're struggling, they need to pay bills and all things like that. So properties are at a deep discount. So if you're an investor, you can get a property on a huge discount where you can save a ton of money. So I think if you're an active buyer looking to purchase properties during a recession, is a great time to purchase properties. But same as normal, you got to run your numbers. You got to make sure it makes sense. During a recession, I will be very cautious when it comes to flipping properties, because the economy is so unstable. You never really know what could happen. Like, real estate does typically appreciate over time, but sometimes it takes a bit longer to appreciate. And during a recession, I would expect one of those times. Now, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, or I am not a time traveler and a predictor of the future, but what I can look at is past trends, past statistics, and look at the people around me and see what has worked for them and what has not worked for them. Okay, all right. So PSA, so we did some research and it looks like a lot of people that are watching do not subscribe to the channel. So please do me a favor, because I'm giving you guys these free videos, free high level information on real estate and real estate investing. Please, just for me. All you gotta do is click the subscribe button, just subscribe to the channel. Oh, also, just bonus, just share it with a friend who can find this helpful. Thank you. And this is something to also keep track too. During tough times, the government will typically intervene to make sure the housing economy is stable. So COVID, for example, our interest rates went literally historically low to make sure that people were still purchasing properties. You know, the government injected money into the economy, whether that was stimulus, whether that was PPP, SBA, all these different things to make sure that people were still spending money, people were keeping the housing economy stable. So I would expect the same exact thing if we really do get into a deep recession again. The government could do things like with the FHA program, with the VA program, even Section 8 to increase people to rent out properties or increase people's purchasing power when it comes to properties. So these are all something in which you should stay aware of. I don't really watch the news myself, but if I'm gonna stay educated on the news, that is definitely a thing that I'm gonna watch. I am checking to see what is happening when it comes to the housing market, interest rates, all things to that effect. And also why I say real estate is recession proof, because real estate is so vast. There's so many different things that you can do in real estate. Now, I couldn't say real estate flipping is recession proof. I couldn't necessarily always say that real estate buy and hold is recession proof, because those are just all different things in there. But real estate as a whole, there's just so many different extra strategies that you can intake regardless of what's going on in the economy, and to best fit the needs of the people and to maximize your profits. Hey, you want to make more money in real estate and real estate investing? Become a closer today. In Closure Society, we'll give you all the mentorship, the coaching, the training, the resources, scripts, and the deals. Yes, we will give you the deals. Partnerships and community is all found in Closure Society. So if you want to make the most money in real estate, which is what you want to do, right? Become a closer today. This is for real estate agents, real estate investors. And no, you don't need a real estate license to make money in real estate. You don't need to be in real estate full time. You don't even need to know what a real estate is to make money in real estate. And with Closure Society, we will supply you with everything. So remember, to join Closure Society, go to closuresociety.org. Follow us on Instagram also at Closure Society. Let's make the most money in real estate and let's close these deals, closers. So think, if you were normally a fix and flipper, all right, cool. Then you can switch your investment strategy instead of fix and flip to DSCR or the BRRRR method, and then you can keep your properties, make those rental properties, because you gotta think, you're already putting in the work to acquire the properties, you're already putting in the work to renovate the properties. Now, instead of flipping them for profits, you just hold on to them for longer. You take less profits up front, but you have more stability because you have a long-term rental at this point. So that's just one of many different strategies in which you can do. But as a real estate investor, you have that flexibility, versus if you're not investing in real estate, you don't have much flexibility and you're just really at the mercy of things that you can't control. And we don't want you to be in that position. We want you to be able to control as much as possible and eliminate any unknown variables as much as possible. So we've talked about how real estate can be recession proof, especially if you're a real estate investor yourself. Now you may be watching this and be like, Chris, I don't know how to invest in real estate. Well, that means you haven't watched my other videos. Watch my other videos now. All you gotta do is just click my icon and you can see all my videos. Or you can go to the playlist and click on my real estate investing resource playlist. I have all my videos specifically about real estate investing and exactly how you can do that literally today, how you can get started. I even give you my contract that I use for real estate investing. I give that to you for free. And if you want that, all you gotta do is click the link in the description below. If recessions make you nervous, that's exactly why you need to own assets that do pay you. Real estate doesn't just survive downturns, it creates and builds millionaires. So the question isn't, should you invest in real estate? It should be, how fast can you start? And if you're serious about getting started in real estate, watch my next video or watch my other videos. Bye.